Something to go back and mention in a YouTube video about the collective yearly readings was that the Sustainer card from the Wild Unknown Archetypes kept coming up, and the visual of the hands holding a ball of clay over the whole year. There was something that was like, I felt unfinished about that message, and I think that the remainder was this. Whatever we're working with this year, we're learning how to work with it. Like these hands that are still holding this ball of clay all year are just learning how to work with the medium of clay. They're getting used to the feel of it. They're strengthening their hands. They're squeezing the clay. They're juggling it back and forth, and it's like when you just sit around and shuffle cards to get, yourself and your energy in that deck, and to break the deck in, or to practice as a reader, so it's like a continual kneading and working and exploring and getting to know like the tactile basics of the medium that you're working with this year. And in clay, when you're preparing to throw clay on a wheel, is what it's called, you first have to get a big old lump of clay, and you have to knead the clay in a ball back and forth in your hands and squeeze it and work all of the air bubbles out. You have to work all the pockets out, because if the pockets are still in the clay, once it goes into the kiln, it will cause a crack, and it'll rupture. It'll crack the end product, or it might even make it crumble once it's in the heat and the fire. Just like our plans for the year, we're not making a lot of huge strides, because this year is offering us everything that we need to thoroughly get and to take our time and to get all the holes out of our plan, to work out all the gaps, cross all the T's, dot all the lowercase j's, work all the kinks out, so that once we're put in the fire that is going to make the porcelain, the fire that is going to set the form so that it can then be glazed and refired. Like this thing is going to go through the fire a couple of times before it's finished. With every layer of glaze, it has to be refired. So that's true when we're up leveling. It's like we're always going to we're getting our glaze layer by layer, so it's like this phase right now, we're about to go in we're taking on a new form, and eventually that form is going to have to up level and be solidified and officialized and, face the initiation of walking through that portal. So in order to do that, we are now setting out on a new journey. And so now we're fine-tuning the materials that we have now to build with, right? So don't feel like this year, don't get discouraged at all if you don't see obvious things happening. Another thing that we kept getting was that dead end card, all those like weeds tangled up and being in the forest, and the forest was talking about like, getting kind of surrounded and deep and into the process and not being able to have like outside perspective of it. You're in the thick of it, and you can't see like, is this good? Like I'm so submersed in it that I can't see myself from the outside. So just remember, when we're in those points of the year where we feel like, what, am I even going anywhere anymore? Like, what is happening? Am I on the right direction? Like, I'm surrounded by like thorn bushes and branches in the way. And where is the trail that I just took like 2 steps off of, and it's so hard to see now? Just remember in those times that that's exactly how it's supposed to be, that you're right there, the trail is right next to you, that you're just in the thick of it right now, and that this whole year is about building our instincts, building the strengths, and like really getting that clay prepared and all the air bubbles out, getting all the kinks out of our plan, getting all the weaknesses out of our plan. Getting a really solid footing on it. And then, when the thing takes off, you're ready for the challenges that come with that level. You have to put these systems and processes in place. Like if you're, say, you want to, what's something practical? Like if you had an online store, there's a lot of setup for that, a lot of systems that you have to put in place. Or if you're, launching a business, you don't want to launch it before all of your softwares and systems and practices and employees are, all that is in place and your employees are trained, because if you suddenly get a big rush and like you're not prepared for it, then it's like it's going to be a crash and burn, get it? Like if you all of a sudden got all these orders in and you've got everything piled up and you have no systems to organize like what's going where and when and all that, it's going to be a lot harder. And you can crash and burn when it comes, when you're faced with the fire of, that's what holds some people back sometimes. It's not that they're afraid of failure. They're afraid of success. They're like, oh my God, like, could I even handle all that? And it's like, that's the glazing and the fire. That's what we're getting ourselves prepared for by working all the air out of our clay, so that when we're putting that initial fire of like meeting the first taste of success, are we going to like keep going forward? Or are we going to like shrink back into the shell that we're comfortable in? And so we're hoping to go forward. We're all hoping to go forward together. So work your clay this year. Take it slow. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the meandering pace. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Work the clay. Learn the medium that you're working in. Don't pile up too many different things on your plate. Just keep it simple this year. Keep everything simple. Keep it simple, Sally. Marie says, simplify to amplify. Don't overcomplicate. Just like make it easy. So many times where we think we're going to get some, like it needs to be hard. It does not need to be hard. It can be as easy as we let it be. Just catch them lessons. All right. I think that was it. I think that was all that came through just then. Bye.